Good evening, everyone. Happy Thursday. It's Thursday here in the man cave. It's been a long week. Brother Jeff, how are you tonight?
Doing great.
Oh boy, I'm ready for my drink. I'm ready for my whiskey tonight.
Yeah, buddy.
I'm going back to an old favorite tonight. I'm going to hit this Jack Daniel's Single Barrel Select. You drinking with us tonight?
Jack number 7.
Oh boy. Tanya is I think Tanya's busy. Tanya's not been able to get on with us yet. Tanya's had a long day also, and I think she's still dealing with work upstairs. So we're going to be running without her for a bit. Let's see. Good evening. We got Ryan and Brian and Hank and Carla and Brent in here with us already. Guys, Thursday night cheers from the man cave. Mm, that hits the spot. That hits the spot. Russ, glad you could make it in here. Excellent. Mike and Fran and Carla. Got a bunch of our regulars here. It's I once again have not got a lot of cooking done this week. This computer programming class that I'm taking, I think is taking up more of my time at the moment than I realized. But I did get a little bit of cooking done. Jeff's got some cooking done this week. Let's have a look at what Jeff's got. Jeff's got a brisket. Is that a flat or is that's a flat?
Yeah, that's just a flat.
Tell me about it.
Well, over at Costco, they had them for $10 off the pack.
Yeah.
So whatever the price of your brisket was, it was $10 off. So I jumped on one. I says, I've never done a flat by itself. I've always done, full packers.
Right.
So I decided to do this one here. I seasoned it up with Lane's brisket, put it on the bark for 200 degrees, and let her bask in the smoke for a while.
Right. I've cooked flats before. In fact, the very first piece of brisket I ever cooked was a flat. It was it was a Mother's Day meal that I made, and I think the flat that I had was 7 or 8 pounds, and I cooked it on the Weber Smoky Mountain. Let's see what's next here. Is this post smoke pre wrap?
Yeah, post smoked pre-wrap.
Yeah. Looks like it's
And
taking on some good color there.
yep, I wrapped it. And what I did, I was reading online about some people doing flats, by themselves. And this one guy put a stick of butter on top of his flat before he wrapped it. So I
Hmm.
said, well, let's try that. So I did that, and I'll tell you what, that comes out pretty good.
How long did you go in the smoke at 200?
I was right at almost 3.5, almost 4 hours, I think.
Okay. Didn't let it go overnight like you normally do?
No, 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 no. Not this.
No.
This flat wouldn't have taken that long.
Let's see here. This is post wrap.
Yep,
Okay.
it's got a nice
So
color to it.
how long did how did in the wrap, did you run the temperature up in the wrap?
Yes, I ran the temperature up to 275, and then ultimately I popped it up to 300 for about the last 45 minutes to get it done. I was kind of on a time schedule because the other when I got this done, I wanted to use half of it for a cottage pie. So I
Right.
was
How long did you go in the wrap?
in the wrap. It was right around 3 hours.
So this brisket only took about 7 hours.
Yep,
That's not bad.
then hour and a half rest.
That's not bad at all. I think I've
Mm-mm.
got that picture oriented incorrectly. And here's the result. That looks pretty good. I looked at these pictures when you sent them. It's got a nice smoke ring on it.
Yep. Say when you get down a little bit with the picture with the knife, I mean it's beautiful picture. That's a money shot right there. I mean,
Yeah,
look, that thing is moist. I was really impressed with this one. This flat was totally moist. It had a great smoke ring. It was nice and tender. As you'll
yeah.
see in the next picture, I mean, it just draped over my
That's what
finger.
that's the key right there. this is one of the things that fools people on flats sometimes, because the thing that confuses a lot of folks on brisket is the juiciness difference between the flat and the point. And the flat's a lot leaner piece of meat. It's not going to
Yep.
be running with rendered fat like the point is. If it does this, this is what you're looking for on a flat. If it does that, it's ready. And typically, you can grab it and it'll pull right apart with no
Yeah,
resistance.
it kind of, when I pulled it apart, it kind of did the accordion effect, you know?
Right. That's exactly what it's supposed to do.
I mean, it was picture perfect. I mean, you couldn't have asked for a nicer cook.
What what you said, the packet, the flat. One of the reasons I don't buy flats is because they cost so much more per pound. At my Sam's Club, I think right now the whole pack, the full packers are like 3.89 a pound,
Hmm.
and I think the flats are still up around $7 a pound. Uh, I don't remember for sure because I haven't really paid that close of attention to
Well,
them
this one I
lately.
picked up after that $10 off. It was 24 bucks.
That's not bad.
That's why I bought it. I looked at it and I go, yep.
You've done some more smoked cream cheese.
Oh yeah, it was football game day. I had to have me a
Man,
little
that's
smoke.
good stuff. That's
I like
something that
that.
I'm going to teach that trick to my mom, because my mom likes to. She would make that and serve it to her bridge club people. I
Oh,
bet.
they would eat that stuff
Yeah,
up.
I need
Say
to
that
show
one
my
I
mom
seasoned
how
up
good
with
it is.
Lane's Spellbound.
Yeah, I haven't tried that one yet. That's his newest. I think that's his newest rub, and I have not tried. I haven't tasted that one.
Well, I got a taste of that when we were at the fire show up at
Yeah, I saw
AGC,
it, but I haven't tasted
and
it.
that's he had some out, and it had a really nice flavor profile to it. And it's great on the cream cheese. And then
What'd you
I
put on
topped it
top
off with
here?
that Apple Valley cider apple grilling glaze,
Right.
and that on those toasted Ritz crackers. Mm-mm.
It looks
Yeah, buddy.
good. So it's time for cottage pie again.
Time for cottage pie. Yeah, I tell you what, if you guys haven't tried my recipe for cottage pie, hit me up on that. We like it. It's what you see here is nothing more than rainbow carrots and leeks and onions in the pan. You saute them until they're nice and soft. Then I add with my cottage pie, it's just a little different than everybody else's cottage pie. Use my leftover pulled pork and my leftover brisket
Hmm.
and put that in. And to that, I add a third of a cup of the W sauce and
Yeah.
3/4 of a cup of the G Hughes steak sauce and 2 tablespoons of tomato paste. Mix that all up, pour it on there, and then top it off with my cauliflower mash.
And
And
cheese.
yeah, white cheddar, Gruyere, and wasn't really enough, so we ended up throwing a little Colby Jack on it on the end to get it. And
Heck yeah. That looks good.
then I seared it off
It
with the
looks
torch because
delicious.
you're not gonna get that thing brown in the Kamado.
You can.
Well, you
Do you have a dojo?
yeah, I was gonna say I can with the dojo, but that pan won't fit in the dojo.
It will. You just can't
No,
slide it through the door. You have to
it
lift the
won't
lid up and set it in there.
it won't even go through the top because of the handles.
It won't.
Nope, I
Oh
tried it.
well. That's one of the things I've been doing. And in fact, guys, I'll mention this a little later. There's a pan I want to talk about. So
I take that back,
that's
John. If I
delicious.
would have been cooking that on the Big Joe, my dojo
Yeah.
for the Big Joe, yeah, I could have put it in the top of that
But
one.
yeah, on the if you want to, that's one thing. That's the only thing I can really think of that the Kamado is just not good at, and that's browning. You have to get it really hot, way hotter than normal, to get anything to brown in a Kamado, and it's because the Kamado is retaining so much moisture. Uh,
Yeah, but John, I would like to find somebody to make me a modification for that. I would like to get a piece of sheet metal that's bent into the shape of that top dome where you just pop it in there and let all that heat radiate back off of that. I'll bet you'll
well,
brown good then.
I don't know. I'm able to brown with the dojo. The dojo does a great job of browning because it seals up and it forces that heat back down out the
Yep.
front. And uh, one of the things you have to keep in mind with the dojo is when you're not using it for pizza, it's okay to lift the lid and set something in there and then close the lid back down on it. You
Yep.
don't have to worry about that because something like this is going to be in there 30 minutes or
Yeah.
maybe even more. So that little bit of heat loss you're going to have when you open the dome is not a problem. And the other great thing about the dojo is if you're running a fireboard, especially if you're running a fireboard pro, you can use a fireboard to run the dojo at whatever temperature you want. And something like this, what's this going in, Jeff? About 400?
Yeah, I've got it sitting about 400, 450,
Yeah,
cooking up that.
that looks good. That looks,
It was had it for dinner tonight. It was awesome.
and then the staple white chicken chili.
Yeah, buddy.
Kathy's
Yeah,
letting
but
you use her Le Creuset in the grill.
yeah, I'll tell you what, John, that cleans up good.
I know it does. It's not hard to clean up.
Nah, it's not hard at
Yeah,
all.
a scouring pad and some Dawn dishwashing liquid cleans them right up.
Takes it right. Well, I use that the Dawn Power Plus, I guess, the one that's in the spray
Yeah.
bottle. Man,
Mhm.
it just wipes that stuff off in no time. And then there's those good old Walmart ribs.
Yeah, I cooked some of those last week. That video I published last week, guys, on the ribs, and these things are amazing. So this is going into the wrap. You wrapped it with some run 'em up maple,
Heck yeah.
and I guess this is post glaze, post wrap,
Yep. Yep.
and then the money shot. That looks good, man. Those, and I've still got some of those ribs in my refrigerator that are vacuum sealed. I decided not to give any of those away, and I've been working on them myself.
Well,
I
we worked on those for a
typically,
couple nights, and then Kathy
yeah,
took I guess half a slab and cut all the meat off, and we put that
uh-huh.
in a salad. Oh my God,
Well,
that was good.
the thin end of that rack I did, the last 4 or 5 bones down there, I'm going to end up cutting all that off the bones and chopping it and using it for something else because for whatever the reason, I can't get a good vacuum seal on that. There's a sharp place on a bone somewhere that's puncturing my vacuum seal bag when I try to seal that piece up. So,
Mm.
and I've tried it twice. So maybe what I need to do is double seal it. Maybe I need to take the bag that's not sealed good and put it in another bag. But it's reminded me of the fact that I might need to get some of the next thickness level of vacuum seal bags because this is the first time I've had one not seal up properly because of a bone or something puncturing. Tell me about these Brussels sprouts. It looks like you got some cheese going on there because I might be willing to try that.
Yep. Did the Brussels sprouts. I didn't cook them in bacon, but it's Brussels sprouts, onions, and then white cheddar and Gruyere cheese.
Japan
And
sear these?
yep.
What'd you
And
sear them in?
just a combination of olive oil and butter.
Okay.
And they came out really nice.
You ever played with sesame oil on that?
I have sesame oil, but I've not tried it on the Brussels. But that is a thought.
Uh, Sesame oil, I love the flavor that stuff. It gives it
Hmm.
that little Asian kick. And the ones that I did when I went through that procedure of trying to learn to like Brussels sprouts, I mixed sesame oil and mirin.
Oh, that'd be
With,
great.
yeah, and it was really good. And I also went through that process. But I'm gonna do something else with Brussels sprouts sometime soon here during the Thanksgiving season. I got to work on that. I got to think about that a little bit because I do want to. Based on our conversation last week about some sides, Brussels sprouts are going to come back, and I'm going to do something. I want to do something fun with Brussels sprouts, and I haven't figured out exactly what I'm going to do yet, but uh, we'll figure it out. Uh, it looks like my wife showed up finally. I I heard some
Hi,
cuss
Tanya.
words. I heard some
Hey,
cuss words flying upstairs. So she's is it been rough, Tanya? Tanya's had a day from hell at work. We'll bring you back here in a little bit, Tanya. I just wanted to welcome you in. Thanks
hi
for being
everybody.
here. Okay, so yeah, It's been a while since I've had a glass of this single barrel select, and it's making me remember why I buy this stuff. I was going to run by the liquor store today and get another bottle of the single barrel uh, Knob Creek, and I didn't do it. So I said we're going to have Jack Daniels tonight. So this week I want to talk a little bit about steaks. Jeff, we've been through a lot of steak processes,
Yep.
and every time I think I've got my favorite process down, I question myself. Quinn, glad you could make it in. We got New Zealand in the house tonight. Good deal. I always think, that there's nothing else worth trying. And recently, I don't know how I missed it. This has been around for a while, it seems, but there's this concept of keeping it flipping. Flip it frequently, flip it every 30 seconds until you're done. And so earlier this week, Tanya and I had steaks for dinner one night, and I decided to try that. I used the PK grill, and I did some. I found some prime grade sirloins for a bargain. They were on sale at Sam's Club, so I bought four of them, and I cooked two of them for dinner. And I decided to use this flip every 30 seconds process, and I was pretty happy with the results that I got. I was fairly impressed. So I decided, well, let's make a video. So I went back to Sam's Club today, and let me get my pictures back up here. Uh, I looked up and got some. Let me find my pictures here. I found some prime grade ribeyes on sale today. these were. I think today may have been their sell by date on these, and I got these two of them. I got them for about $8 off what the normal price was, and they both looked pretty good. So I decided I was going to use one of these. So I pulled one out this morning, and what I decided to do with this is I smeared a little regular Worcestershire sauce on top, and then I seasoned it with my Man Cave Magic #1 salt, pepper, garlic on both sides. And then I tossed that back in the refrigerator on that rack pan just like that for 2 hours to let that salt go to work. And after it had a chance to do its thing, I fired up the PK grill. Honor Rock, glad you could make it. He's on the left coast out there. He's out in San Diego. So, but anyway, I fired up the Franklin. I cooked the sirloins on the Franklin earlier this week. So I got it going. I got a nice hot bed of coals, and this is what my steak looked like after it had been on the rack in the refrigerator for a couple hours. Normally, I would like to have let this go for maybe 4 hours, and I just didn't have time to do that long today. So I tossed it on the grill, and I've made video of this that I will get published either tomorrow or Saturday, so you can kind of see a little more detail about what's going on. But the philosophy here is that you flip this guy constantly, and I've all the information I've looked at, I've seen flip it every 30 seconds, flip it every minute, flip it every minute and a half, or no, there doesn't seem to be a standard. So I decided to flip every 30 seconds on this, and I had a rather hot bed of coals going here, so I knew that I wasn't going to finish the steak flip, and I was going to have to get the outside of that steak looking like I wanted it, and then let it finish over indirect heat. So this is what it looked like after the first flip. That's what I got just after 30 seconds, and then I just kept flipping it, And this is 3 or 4 flips in, and uh, here it is. This is what it looked like when I decided I was happy with what the outside of this steak looked like. I had a crust on there that, in my mind, is a nice combination of good Maillard with a little bit of char. I used to be one that didn't care, that I'd rather keep the char off of it completely and just have the Maillard. But I've gotten to the point now where I'm starting to enjoy a little bit of char to go with that. So I pulled it off and let it finish over indirect heat up to about 125 degrees internally. Then I took it off and wrapped it in foil and let it rest for about 10 minutes before I cut into it. And this is what I ended up with. And first of all, before I comment any more on that, I'd like to ask, have any of you tried this method before? If you've tried this method, leave me a comment and let me know what you thought about it and what you think about it, because I've got some definite opinions about this. Uh, because my current favorite method for cooking steaks is doing it on cast iron or on the soapstone and not flipping it like this. I flip it once. I wait till I get the downside of it looking like I like it before I flip it, and then I don't flip it again. Uh, that's my favorite method. And this method, I'm trying to decide if I'm going to try it again. And if I try this method again, I'm going to try it on iron or on the soapstone rather than over the direct fire. I do believe this would have worked better for me on a flat cooking surface where I could temper the heat a little bit better. The steaks I cooked earlier this week for Tanya and myself for dinner, the bed of coals that I was cooking over wasn't quite as hot as what I was cooking over today. So I was able to do more flipping before I had to take it off. And today I decided I wanted to go a little hotter. And first of all, let me say the steak tasted phenomenal. I've got no complaints whatsoever about the flavor of this steak. This steak I would put up against anything I've ever done really in terms of flavor. But it is a prime grade ribeye, and that makes a difference as well. Uh, Jeff, do you have any commentary on what you see on this one?
No, that looks great. But I'm in agreement with you. I would rather go and put it on my soapstone, let it sear one side until it's done, flip it over on the other side, and then finish it off, indirect if needed.
Well, I agree, and the part of the process that I think works better on a flat surface is the fact that you can put some oil down. I watched some videos on this process before I tried to do it. Yeah, Brent, thanks. It does look good, and that was lunch today. I had an amazing lunch. I don't get to do that very often, but uh, this this works so well. I'm considering playing with it a little bit more. And what I think I'm going to do next time, I'm going to do this on in cast iron, but I'm going to get my portable induction cooktop out where I can control the heat a little bit better. And I'm probably going to set it up to where my cooking surface is somewhere in the neighborhood of 400 to 450. And I'm going to use either ghee or avocado oil, a little bit of ghee and avocado oil in the pan until I get my sear where I want it. One of the things I do know is butter is not something you want to use here because butter has got a high water content until all the water evaporates off, and you're going to be steaming if you do butter. I like to do just the oil. Avocado oil is a really nice oil to do this, and ghee will be probably what I'll use. I've got both, but I prefer the flavor profile of ghee, and I'm going to play with it uh, and see how it comes out, and see if I like the idea. The only thing I don't like about this process is you got to stand there with it. It's not something you walk away from, so you can't be doing something else. The good thing about it is if you're doing it on the Aaron Franklin grill, you can have something else on the grill with it at the same time. You could be cooking multiple things on that grill over multiple heat zones and just do everything. Like if I was going to do some of those beautiful looking Brussels sprouts that Jeff just did, I could have those going on a pan at the same time on that grill with this because that's a fairly quick cook. Uh,
Yeah.
the Brussels sprouts, and I don't know how I didn't ask Jeff how he did his, but I par steam mine before I go to the pan with it. Do you do that, Jeff?
No,
I put mine in the steamer for about 10 minutes, where most of the cooking's done, and all I'm looking for is that char, that sear when I go to the pan. that's part of the process I learned when I was trying to figure that out. But yeah, Brent, thanks on that. That looks good. I just don't know if I just don't know if this method's going to be something I stick with, because as you know, if you've been following me for any length of time, I'm just not a big fan of reverse sear. Uh, I've The only time I think reverse sear is worthwhile if I'm cooking a piece of meat that's an inch and a half thick or bigger, and I'm not often cooking them that big. So I like the sear quality that I get. Uh, Tanya, can you wipe that one out for me and get that one blocked out? So hang on just a second. Anyway, never mind. It's okay. Uh, so I don't know what's going on there, but I don't know if this method's going to be something I stick with, but I'm going to play with it again. And like I said, I'll have the video for this cook up on Monday or before Monday. I'm hoping to get it up tomorrow, but it might be actually Saturday till I get it up. So anyway, that's where the steak went today.
It went in his tummy,
Yeah, it was
and
a
it
good
was
lunch.
yummy.
I had ribeye for lunch today, and I've got another one. I've got the other one out of there that I've put in the freezer, and I'll either get it back out some other time. But uh, I ran into some time constraints this week. I got hung up on homework. I got
Aren't you glad you don't have a full-time job, John?
well, I got a full time job. It's just not any going on during the week. So, but this Python's is becoming I'm to the challenging point of this class, and it's taking a lot of attention. So next week, I haven't figured out exactly what I'm going to do, but I'm going to start working on some of the things we talked about for Thanksgiving sides and whatnot next week. The chili, I've been thinking about the chili, but I'm going to save the chili till colder weather. I might not put chili out. I might make the video, but I'm probably not going to publish that till January. I'm rethinking. I'm trying to take my chili recipe and see what I can do. Turn it up a notch, to make it something. I really like my chili the way it is, and I've been making it the same way for quite a while. So I'm
Well,
trying to
I'm
figure out.
excited here in Florida, John. We got told today we have a cold front coming through,
Yeah, I heard
and
about that.
temperature's going to drop down to mid 80s.
The
Man, I
mid
can't
80s.
wait.
It's been nice here. We had rain yesterday. The rain was supposed to be here today, but it came yesterday instead. So today I got the grass cut. But uh, talking about the Thanksgiving sides, I made a list from the conversation we had last week, and I'm going to be having a look at some of that stuff. Joe, Joe Cavins is what. I'm glad you could make it, Joe. Um, yeah, Honorog's got the point. This is what makes the difference when you're searing steaks or searing any kind of meats. The contact with the pan and the oil makes a difference. You don't get that when you don't have that happening when you are cooking over direct flame like I was doing here. You can cheat the system and smear a little bit of oil on the surface of the meat, but that it's just going to heat up and run off and flame up underneath you when you do that. And ribeye renders enough fat when you're cooking. You got to watch out for the flame ups anyway, because there's a good bit of fat.
Yep.
There's a good nice fat vein in that one that was rendering out. When you see the video, you'll get to see some of that. So, um, but steaks are something else I've been thinking about today. I'm Tanya and I like different kinds of steaks, and one of the questions I think I'm going to post up on Man Cave Meals next week to generate a little conversation. I'll give you guys a head start on that. I want to find out what your favorite steaks are that are not ribeye and not strips and not tenderloin or filet mignon. What are your favorite steaks that aren't part of the big three. And what are you buying? What Jeff? What do you like that's not one of those?
I like pork steaks.
Well, I'm talking about beef.
Oh, you're talking about, you didn't say beef.
Well, I'll have to be more specific.
Some of these people were slow. We read each individual thing. For beef, let's see here. Flat
Do you
iron
like
steak.
flat iron's awesome? Do you like sirloins?
They're okay.
I think sirloin's one of the best tasting steaks out there, but I don't think it's not got texture wise. It's not one of my favorites. But flat iron is a good blend of the two, and I can occasionally find flat iron around here for $10 a pound, or maybe even a little less. But flat iron's definitely good. I don't know what part of the animal flat iron comes from. I'm going to have to look that one up. But I like the flat iron and the
I'll tell you
tri-tip.
in a minute.
Tri-tip, something else I need to get going here sometime soon. I've 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 had a love-hate relationship with tri-tip since I first started cooking it, and I haven't made up my mind fully. I don't like tri-tip as much as some of the other beef cuts. I would rather cook sirloin tip than tri-tip. I don't know why that is, but I just like it better. Have you ever cooked a whole sirloin tip, Jeff?
No, the flat iron comes from the chuck subprimal and more specifically the top muscle blade. So there you have it.
So it's up high then.
Yep.
So
So it gets
okay,
a good workout.
but yeah, flat iron's very flavorful. It's very tender, and it's got a fairly good fat content. It's somewhere in between a strip and a sirloin. It doesn't have anywhere near as much intramuscular fat as a ribeye does, but it's not got as much as a strip either. But it's not a whole lot below the strip, but it's got a good bit more than the sirloin. Sirloin's fairly lean usually.
Janice cooked a tri-tip this week that looked really awesome. She did it in
Uh,
the rotisserie basket.
I can't remember if I think I remember. I may have seen that. I'm not
Yeah,
sure.
that was really nice.
Uh, Let me see if I've got a photograph of the. Here we go. Let's have a look at these right quick. These are those sirloins that I bought uh, at Sam's Club. There's four of them in this pack, and I got that pack for $26 for the prime grade sirloin. And uh, these are the two I pulled out of that pack to cook. And I seasoned them up the same way, except I vacuum sealed them and put them back in the refrigerator for a while. They got 6 or 7 hours in the fridge before I was ready to throw them on. And I did the same thing. I did that flip. I flip these guys every 30 seconds. And with Tanya's, I was cooking Tanya's well done, so I put hers on a good bit ahead of mine and got hers mostly cooked before I tossed mine on there. But this is about where I took Tanya's off the heat, and that's those two finished using that method. But those took a little longer to cook because I didn't have as hot of a bed of coals going, and that's the cross cut of mine when I was done with it.
That looks
But
good.
yeah, they were tasty. They were really. I got no problems with those. They tasted delicious, and the price on the ribeye was such that I wasn't going to pass it up because I know Tanya will eat ribeye. Tanya's wake up, Tanya.
Yeah, I'm up.
How are those
I'm
ribeyes?
what ribeyes?
I'm sorry, the sirloins that we had earlier in the week.
Oh, it was really good. I thought it had a
Okay.
really good taste to it.
Yep.
Yep, it really did.
So everything went well there. I'm gonna play with it some more. What I might do also on the constant flip methods, I might go get a couple of 2 inch thick uh, fillets and put those in an iron pan and do the back and forth flipping on those until they're ready, or until they're ready to go over indirect heat. 2 inch thick would take a long time to cook. And what else have we got? I'm short on things to talk about this week, guys.
I don't know that a 2-inch thick steak would benefit from the flip every 30 seconds, John.
Yeah, I don't know.
Between you and me, I think sear it on one side till you get the color right, sear it on the other side, and then take it off.
That's
I mean,
what
I think you're
that's
going to
what I
have
like to
pretty much
do.
the same thing.
That's exactly the way I like to cook steaks, and that's typically the way I do it. I don't have any. I don't have any fillets at the moment. I don't have anything that's 2 inches thick. Those ribeyes, the ribeye that I did today is 1.25 inches. It's and those sirloins they were an inch thick. They weren't quite cut as thick, but I think Sam's Club cuts all of their ribeyes to 1.25 inches, and then they've got those cowboys that are two or 2.25 inches thick. They're pretty, the big bone in ones. So Anthony loves
But you can
flank.
pay for that fancy cut of meat and the hefty big bone.
Yeah. Oh, I don't mind that. I like every now and then throwing that big bone on the grill. It's fun to look at. The cool factor is worth some dollars to me. I've got no problem admitting that. I don't mind paying for bone. Bone doesn't weigh that much. The bone's not costing me that much money. So
That's a good price for brisket, Joe.
what did he get? Oh yeah.
$1.99 a pound.
I don't think I've ever bought brisket for $1.99.
I did at Kroger. I'll tell you what, and John, seriously, those were two of the
Yeah.
best briskets
You
I
told me
got. They
about
were
that. I don't
prime
think there's
Angus.
a Kroger. I don't know where my closest Kroger is. They don't have any in this part of the state. And I'd be willing
Well,
to
they
drive.
definitely don't have any in Florida.
I'd be willing to drive somewhere to get to a Kroger if I could get a brisket for $1.99 a pound. Tanya, we need to find out where the Krogers are and
Yeah.
figure out. Yeah, we'll have to next
Come
time.
over the line into Georgia, you'll be able to hit one.
I don't know if I'm willing to drive that far, not with gas prices the way they are, unless I could incorporate it into some other thing that Tanya and I wanted to see or do. And starting in November, I'm losing one of my free days. I'm going to be working a 3-day week instead of a 2-day week. So, yeah. And I'll be starting back over at 0 on my vacation time. So I'll have to be building up vacation time again. All right. Well, we might just go short tonight because, like I said, I didn't do a lot of cooking this week. I'm going to try to have some more stuff going on next week where I've got more cooks to talk about. I've been struggling to find anybody to come on live with us to talk about their cooking. Jeff, have you got a Winn-Dixie near you?
Winn-Dixies are almost obsolete. Morgan & Morgan just about put them out of business here in Florida.
Yeah, we don't have any around here either.
Yeah. They're gone from here.
Publix has got good meat. I've got 0 complaints with most of the stuff I bought out of the butcher's case at Publix. There's something you got to watch out for at Publix. Like their 39 cent a pound Thanksgiving turkeys that they'll have, those things are garbage. I've cooked a couple of them and I haven't had a good one yet. So, yeah, Beth, I invited him to come on and he said he was going to come on, but he hasn't let me know when he can come on yet. I'm looking forward to having both of those guys are going to come on. I talked to Brian about it. Maybe I'll hit him up again. And actually, Chef Eric said he wanted to come on again too. So maybe I'll rattle Chef's cage and see if he's around next week. And we'll get Chef on and see what he's been up to because I haven't talked to Eric. I haven't talked to Eric since June. So, well, I did talk to him once, but it was on the phone. I haven't seen him. So, all right, I think we'll just we'll wrap up early tonight, guys. I appreciate you hanging out with me, and like I said, next week I'll have some more content one way or the other. I apologize, I'm busy, and like I said, I haven't done a lot of cooking this week, so appreciate it. If you've got any suggestions, leave them in the comments. If you would like to come on live with us and talk about some things you're doing, let me know. I'll be more than happy to bring you in here with us. So until next week, guys, have a good one.
Bye.